as a part of the day-to-day lives, of all of us. It's not some special thing for people in spandex. It's about families. It's about getting around in a healthier way, a smarter way, a less oil-dependent way. And I think the way he does it is so compelling. I feel like we should clone him and take him to state houses and capitals all around the country. Similarly, we have the fortune of having a real pioneer who has really shown the light for the country and certainly for the state of Oregon in Earl Blumenauer, and I really want to thank him for all of his work in that regard. A new fully funded transportation bill that took care of our roads and bridges and bikes and other transportation projects. It would be great to have a transportation strategy, that took care of the needs of metropolitan areas and cities. But we can't afford to wait for Washington. And I think it's important to recognize just how far we've come in such a short period of time. And that we really don't have to wait for Washington. And I think you can see the kinds of progress that all of you are making on some of the most famous streets in the country. You can see this on Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C., which is an incredibly historic symbol. You can see this on Broadway in my town, which is now just 5 years ago. I mean, well, maybe Portland had a few things going on 5 years ago, but even they have seen some tremendous changes in the last few years. But all across the country, we have seen tremendous breakthrough thanks to everybody here in this room. And it's hard, it's painstaking work. I have a little bit of the feeling of what that pain is all about. And there are setbacks, and there are disappointments, and there are unexpected, events. But that's to be expected when you are in the business of change. And your work and your organization and the league, and lots of other people across this country have made this change happen. And I think you owe yourselves a big, big round of applause for what you have done all across the country. Extraordinarily, controversial things like dramatically reduced speeding, dangerous cycling, no cycling on the sidewalk, and huge increases in cycling as a very big important part of the network. So those kinds of controversial changes, of course, are all about the Prospect Park bike lane. But anyway, we are moving forward, and we have an incredible leader in Mayor Michael Bloomberg. I can't tell you enough the support, the vision, the leadership, the political courage that Mayor Bloomberg has, and I find him inspirational each and every day. And the changes that you see on the streets of New York, whether it is the safest streets in 100 years, whether it is new forms of mobility like bus rapid transit lanes, whether it is over 250 new miles of bike lanes, all of that is due to the vision and the leadership of Michael Bloomberg. And I hope all of you someday have the pleasure to work for a person that has that kind of political vision and leadership. And I think we all owe him a great debt, for setting that vision and sticking to it, even when times are tumultuous. So I think that with the new legislation that we are moving forward with, we passed new legislation and new zoning, which requires bike parking in buildings, and most new construction needs to include bike parking. I think we're really on track to have New York City be a world-class cycling city, which leads me to a big announcement today. I do have a big ask, actually. Unlike Earl, I have a huge ask. In addition to serving as the Transportation Commissioner for New York City, I'm also the president of the National Association of City Transportation Officials, known as NACTO. And NACTO works to have cities find ways to solve transportation issues that we face, and also to make the case for a different federal investment strategy that works for cities. And a big issue that we heard from city officials as we walked around the country, talked around the country, was that they had difficulty designing their streets so that they were safe and accessible for cyclists. And that some states, I know this is a shocker, but some states are more rigid than others in their interpretation of guidance in the MUTCD. And many cities really don't have the resources to bring to the table to support designs that are not explicitly pointed out to in major national engineering guides and Bibles. And that's why it's really exciting to announce NACTO's Urban Bikeway Design Guide. And its goal is to provide best practice solutions for everyone in the country that wants them. And it's very simple, essentially a stop line for cyclists before the stop line for motor vehicles. It's used in every bike-friendly city in Europe. It's used in 20 cities across the US, but it is not in the web platform, which allows us to really get into some of the details of these designs and update it frequently. And it is an incredible team that put this guide together. I really want to thank all of them. All of the NACTO cities came together on this, and under the leadership of Eric Gilderland. We had a terrific consultant team from Alta Planning, and Mia Burke and her team were really terrific. We had incredible leadership from the New York City Department of Transportation and John Orcutt. It's as important as what's inside the guide. And we'd like, and this is the ask, we'd like FHWA to recognize these as national standards. We would like AASHTO to do the same. And we can work together to get that done. But again, you don't have to wait for Washington to act. You can work to get this adopted in your states and in your cities, and take matters into your own hands, so that when you want to install bike signals, so that when you want to install protected bike lanes, you don't have to hear, it's not in the MUTCD. And that's really one of the big things that we're very excited about seeing done. So with the hard work and the determination of every single person in this room, and in dozens and dozens of rooms around the country, we will make cycling safe and accessible for everyone. And I want to thank you for all your work, and I hope that you have a fantastic conference. Thanks again for all you do for all of us each and every day.